The main issue that we have some non-governmental organizations in the Netherlands that are founded by Greenpeace, that have close contact with animal rights. They get a lot of money from people that are anti-meat, are pro-veganism, because there is a huge money earning system in veganism. Imported gas from America is coming into our harbor, and we have our own natural gas, but no, we are the most paying civilians in Europe for gas. It's 5 times higher than in, for example, in France or in Germany. You should be gender neutral or whatever, and people are sick and tired of this in the Netherlands. We can't have this anymore. We have actually zero support. They use everything they want in the Netherlands. They use agricultural budget from the budget from Brussels. So we are getting less and less from the European budget as well. So it's the opposite. They use agricultural money for developing the countryside, for doing projects, for blah, 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 a lot of things, not for farmers. So it's the opposite as in Poland.
Hello everyone, my name is Karol, and today I've got a great pleasure to speak with Jos Ubels. Jos is a Dutch farmer and vice-president of Farmer Defense Force. Welcome, Jos.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jos, could you tell us something more about your organization, FDF?
Yes, of course. In 2019, there were some activists invading a family farm in the Netherlands. These were international activists, animal rights activists, and they blocked this farm and invaded the property of this farmer. And we saw that our Ministry of Justice didn't do anything. They let the activists be there. Of course, the police was present, but eventually they let it happen for a few hours, for almost half a day. And we, as a farmers of the Netherlands, saw that this was not fair, because this is private property. They broken in like a criminal, but nobody did anything. Of course, they went there and there was a lot of media attention, but this was all for the benefit of the activists and not in the benefit of the farmer. And he is also a Dutch citizen that need the protection of the Ministry of Justice. So we were frankly, you can say we were quite angry about this as a farmers. So we said, okay, if this is the way things go, maybe we should protect our farmers ourselves, because no family farm should be scared of things like this. So Mark van der Oever, this is our president till now, he founded a Facebook group in which he said, okay, maybe if there is problems on your farm, you can say this to the group. And if there are farmers close by, maybe we can help you to protect your farm, maybe do a citizen's arrest, or at the worst, or even film everything what's happening, so you later have proof or evidence to protect your property. So in the beginning, there was almost no reaction. Just a few people joined this group. But after a while, it took a spin-off, and a lot of farmers decided to join the group. The group is growing rapidly, and at the moment, I think we have something like 70,000 people in this group. These are all farmers or farmer-related people that have something to do with farming. So veterinarians or people that work on a farm or whatever. And then there was the huge demonstration in 1 October 2019, and later in 16 October 2019 again in the Netherlands. Those were demonstrations that whole the world saw, because they were so huge and never been seen before in the Netherlands on the last decades. We organized this together with some other groups, and then we decided 16th of October we did by ourselves. And there were like more than 30,000 farmers there and more than 10,000 tractors inside The Hague. So the media, the streets, we had the longest traffic jam ever in the Netherlands, and we were all over the media, and we saw that this had a very great effect. People were willing to speak with us, are willing to let us into the parliament, are willing to, the milk factories started calling that they want to speak with us. Everybody was interested in having conversations. So we decided if we can do something better for the farmers, maybe we should start an organization and continue our work. So this is how it started.
Okay, Jos, you told me that you've got now about 7,000 of members. How many is?
I'm sorry. We have 70,000 members
70,
on our Facebook.
70.
Yes,
Okay.
on our Facebook group.
Okay.
On our Facebook,
my mistake. Okay, but my question is, how many farmers is in the Netherlands now? Around, of course.
Yeah, we have around 50,000 farmers. So you could say that everybody that is a farmer in the Netherlands that has the capability to go on a Facebook group should be in our group. And at the moment, we have actively around 5,000 paying farms, and they pay us annually an amount for the organization. So we have 10% of the farms in the Netherlands are paying our organization.
Oh, so your organization is one of the biggest one, yeah, in the Netherlands.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we have.
Maybe we should start with that question. Give me 3 main reasons why you start to protest, and when it was exactly.
Yeah, we started to protest, like I already told you, in 1st of October. This was the first one. Mm-hmm. And we did this because we saw that there was so many legislation pushed upon farmers. And one of the politicians said we have to cut down the farmers by 50% in the Netherlands. We should lose 50% of our cattle. And this hurt us a lot because we as a Dutch farmers were in the top of the world by producing on the most animal-friendly, environmentally friendly way, that we said, okay, but it's not fair. The last decades, we do so many. The last 30 years, we do so many to change our farms to be the best in the world. We produce on a very good level with a little impact, and we are very successful in this. So we were interested in what was the reason for the politicians to say we need to lose them. Because if you have a group in your country that is very good in something and it's a trademark of your country, why should you expropriate them or get rid of them? So we didn't understand, and that's why a lot of farmers stood up and say we have to protect ourselves and demonstrate, even if it's not the usual thing a farmer loves to do. Yeah, we love to work and stay on our family farms and do a lot of hard labor, but now we go onto the streets, and it's weird that we have to, but we should.
So you gave one reason, like a reduce of cattle production, in your country. Have you got another goals which you would like to achieve?
Of course, we have a lot of goals, but for the moment, the main reason was that they want to reduce cattle and reduce farmers and buy our fields, even by force. They want us to have no rights at all, just take our fields if they want and just pay us the...
Why they would like to take your ground?
Okay, first of all, the Netherlands is a country with 18 million people, and we are just very tiny country. So we are almost like a big city, and we are just 1 or 2% of the population is farmer. Yes, because we have so many other people in the Netherlands. So the elections is decided by the majority. So we see that farmers in the past had a very big voice in politics and a very big voice in the parliament, but because there came so much more people that have nothing to do with farming, and the rate of the farms in the Netherlands declined so much that we have only a few percent of the elections is by hands of the farmers, and the rest is the rest of the Netherlands, and they starting to get lose their feeling with farms and with the way food is produced. And at the moment, the media is also a very big enemy of the farmers, because one of the nationwide television groups, it's founded by the government. It's actually controlled by the government. They get 800 million euro every year to produce their news and their information.
Like in Poland?
Yes, and they are really pushing idealistical ideas about, but this is not always the truth. And we are shocked by this, that in a free democratic country as the Netherlands, it can be that a minority gets bashed by the majority, especially by the politics, because the politics and they should protect minorities in a democracy.
Exactly.
Yes, because democracy is decided by the majority, but the minorities have to have protection from government. Otherwise, they get lost in the system. And this is what's going on. So there are a lot of reasons, but the main two huge issues is that the politics that are in power now for a little while, because we shook them off their seats. So we have a new ones soon. So it will be better, hopefully. But the politicians that are in power now are just pushing away farms, breaking the mentality of the farmers, and instead we are one of the best farmers worldwide. So it's ridiculous. And the second huge thing is the media.
Okay, but you mentioned that you've got a great support from other society. I saw the statistic that around 70 up to 80% of Dutch citizens support the farmer protests. Is it true? And could you tell me something more about BBB parties? Is it really farmers' party, or it's just one of branch of that party?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First of all, you can see by two important things. You can see that farmers are supported by the population of the Netherlands. Because first of all, when we drove on our tractors to The Hague, we did this many times and with huge groups, and always there were the media that say, okay, but the farmers are going to lose, the population is not going to accept this any longer because traffic jams, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But we see every time when they did surveys or when they asked people in interviews, always they were positive about the farmers. And when we drive our tractors, and every farmer that drove their tractor to Den Haag will tell you the same. Everywhere were people with flags, with Dutch flags, and with thumbs up and showing support. So we feel this very strongly. And the second part is very close to the second part of your question, because in the beginning, I have to be honest, I as a person didn't have a good feeling about the chances that BBB will have in politics, because as I said, we have only 50,000 farmers, and for one seat in the chamber, you need more than 70,000 votes. So the chance that there will be only one in the parliament from the farmers is very small. But okay, luckily we had some people that really believed in this project and they pushed through. And now we see how big the BBB become. And I think they became this big because there is a lot of support from the countryside, a lot of support from the people in the city that love Dutch farmers because they are proud of it. And at the same time, I also think that we control the media, not by giving them lots of money, not by having influence in their organizations. No, we control the media because we show that we are there. And we were there a lot and all the time and in huge amounts. So I think that we had a great effect on the Netherlands because everybody saw that farmers are in distress, and they showed this when they go voting. So this is what caused a huge BBB.
Okay, and are you still protesting nowadays?
The protests are now on a little bit lower level in the Netherlands because we are protesting with lawyers at the moment a lot, because there is a lot of unfair legislation that is not legal at all. And we are trying to protect the farmers by using or strong lawyers to fight the wrong that has been done. At the same time, we also focusing on protesting in Europe, because we see that a lot of countries, especially Poland, did a lot of huge protests after we did it. So the fire is spreading throughout Europe. We are in very close contact with a lot of organizations that are organizing protests and are protecting farmers in their country. And we are now looking forward to make them one strong group because we think that what we did in the Netherlands, we got rid of our old government. It's still work in progress because they didn't make a new coalition till today, but they will do. And then we have a whole new government with a lot of influence from farmers. And I think this is because we went to the streets so much and we controlled the media by being visible. And I think we should do this not only in every country separate, we should do this on a European level and show Brussels that their legislation that is pushed on Polish farmers, that is pushed on Dutch farmers, pushed on German farmers, French farmers, even the Romanian, the Bulgarian, everybody is having the same trouble with legislation. The simple example that is ridiculous, if you tell this to a civilian, they are all starting to disbelieve you. Because the European farmers, every hectare of soil in Europe is controlled by satellites. Every 3 days, they check with artificial intelligence what is going on our fields. I said many times before, if they do this with the Colombian drug traffickers, we don't have a drug problem. We never have it, but they do this with the food, So where is the intelligence in this? They use so much money just to check our fields. They see my fields more often than I do, and it's ridiculous, really ridiculous. And nobody understands why they're doing this, and they have no personnel to do this. They only do this with artificial intelligence. And then they write letters to the farmers that they were too early with sowing, too late with sowing, their fields are too wet, the this, the that. And the farmers have to respond. But it's created by artificial intelligence, and we have to use our brain and our scarce time to resolve their created problems, yeah? So I think we should all stand up and fight Brussels because it's going too far.
Okay, Jos, I've got one question because I don't understand. I saw the statistics. So the official statistics says that you've got 25 years ago the same number of dairy cows. You've got quite similar, it decreased, but quite similar number of pigs, like 12 million heads. And my question is, why now the Dutch government starts to fight with you, with the cattle production, with the manure? Why the nitrogen problem is now so strong, and before there was no problem? What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, before there was no problem, and now there is no problem.
For legislation, of course.
Of course, but we have to make this point because it's actually, this is common sense. Yes, there is no problem, and they are creating problems with their documents and with their bright ideas, but they are never real problems. So this is one, and then when you go back to the statistics, you see that, of course, there was a decline, especially in pig farmers. We have a lot of decline in pigs in the Netherlands, but cattle also declined a certain percentage. But the main issue is not the farmers. The main issue is not the nitrogen. The main issue that we have some non-governmental organizations in the Netherlands that are founded by Greenpeace, that have close contact with animal rights. They get a lot of money from people that are anti-meat, are pro-veganism, because there is a huge money-earning system in veganism. Yes, veganism is not a bad thing. If somebody decides to be a vegan on several reasons, it can be okay, in my opinion. But if huge companies try to force people to become vegan, even if it's not healthy for them, just so they can sell their vegan burger to the majority, I think this is wrong. You should not start to focus on malnutrition. You start to focus on getting a healthy population that can contribute to our country, not to starvation. So this is one problem that these NGOs are pushing on the government. And nowadays, the government has no intelligence about farming. Yes, they have a lot of documents and they have a lot of satellite images, but they have no experience. They know nearly nothing about farming. So its lack of knowledge of the government, together with the NGOs pushing them to change, is having effect. And in 2015, one non-governmental organization pushed over a legislation written by the Dutch government, and they won in court. So the government has to change this legislation. But this caused a lot of farmers that have their permits based on this legislation to don't have a valid permit anymore. It was not the fault of the farmers. It was not made by mistake. It was just legislation that already was used upon farmers. They used this legislation to give the permits to certain companies, farms. They were retreating these permits. So this caused huge drama in the Netherlands. And this is why the non-governmental organizations that actually we can say they hate farmers, they smell blood and they know they have possibilities to fight farming and to break down family farms. And I don't understand why they do this. You can ask me this question many times. I cannot explain you why they do this because it's not common sense in my opinion, but they do it. And they were pretty successful until the farmers stood up for themselves. And now we are the same successful. So now we are opposites and we fight and we have the same effect. But I think farmers are way stronger because the main population of the Netherlands don't support the activists of the NGOs, but they support us. You see this everywhere in all the interviews and exit polls.
So in Poland, we've got the same problem, especially the animal producers also fight with the eco-activists. But still, it's much better than in the Netherlands, as you told us. But I heard an opinion from the Netherlands expert that this is not, coincidence. It's a plan to take your grants, because if you invest, you put €1 million to develop your farm, your barns, buildings, and so on, and suddenly someone says, "Okay, thank you, goodbye. You poisoned the soil. The nitrogen is very dangerous, and so on and so on. So you have to sell it in a good price." And I heard that the government tried to create the special zone, the clean zone without nitrogen, because they try to protect water. Of course, I know that it's just, the slogan. What do you think about that opinion? Is it true or it's, hyperbola?
Well, this is a question that was asked to me many, many times. But there's actually two answers in my opinion. I can't give you a clear answer because it's hard for me to understand the whole situation. I try, but it's hard because I always thought that governmental organizations with governmental employees will never have the time and effort and thinking strategy to create some bigger plan. Of course, they have some legislation and effort, but I see when it's 5 o'clock or even 4 o'clock, they want to go home and they start late and they don't care about, they are not putting their heart and effort in the job. It's only because they need a living. And so I always personally thought that people that are working like this, are thinking like this, will never make up huge plans to change the world. They will have their plans and their ways, but I think if you want to change the world for the better, you have to put your life into it, not only your work. It should be your life. And we see that they don't do this. So personally, I don't believe that there is a huge plan. Of course, there are some huge organizations that have money-wise interest in the whole discussion. Small example is if you sell a hamburger, we know it's a hamburger made from pig meat or from cattle meat. We don't eat dog meat, so it's cattle meat or pig meat in the Netherlands. And this is written on the hamburger. So if a civilian or some people in the shop buy the hamburger, they know what they are eating. And the producer of this and the industry behind this and the retail, they can never lower this price more than it costs the production. It will always be, the production costs will all be on a certain level. So a hamburger will never be cheaper than that. But if you be smart and you make a vegan burger, nobody knows what's inside the vegan burger. You can have, for example, you put in vegetable oils from palm, or you can do it from rapeseed, or you can do everything. And this is a strong model because you can sell rapeseed oil as meat. And at the same moment, if the rapeseed farmer thinks that they should get more money to have an honest living, the retailers and the industry can say, okay, but we don't need you anymore because you're getting too expensive. We just use palm fat that we import from different countries, and the customer will see no difference. So I think it's unfair. If you sell a tapioca burger, it should be called a tapioca burger. And if you sell a rapeseed burger, it should be called a rapeseed burger. Then the customer knows what they are eating. It's sad that it's not the thing at the moment. So these huge organizations that can make money by this, businesses, companies, they are seeing a business model there because it is a strong business model. It's like Coca-Cola. Yes, you sell sugar water for the price of high protein food, but it's just sugar water and it's cheap.
With
it costs yes, and it costs like 13 cents to produce. And at the same time, you sell it for €1.50 or even €2.50. So it's a perfect business model. So I understand why the company is pushing this. But we need a government to protect the civilians for the things that are wrong in this. It's not wrong to sell a tapioca burger. It's wrong to say to people that they shouldn't eat the meat burger and buy the tapioca burger as a vegan burger. So there is something that's going on. And then back to your question about the major plan, or of course we have to understand that 18 million people in a tiny country, there is young people. There is scarce of homes in the Netherlands. People are living with their families because they have no place to build a house or to have a house, to buy a house, because we have too much people and too little homes. Yes, this is a problem. And instead of solving the problem, the government is just pointing out to the farmers and say, yes, we need their soils to build houses. But you understand that there also is a great business model in this, because if you buy fields for the price of agricultural hectares, this is a way different price if it's building soil. Yes, if you can make great projects on there. So there's again huge NGOs pushing that they want the government to buy soils from the farmers and building houses there. And then there is no farmer having extra money. They only get the money for their fields. But it will go 10 times up. Sometimes in the city, it will go 100 times up.
Okay, off top of agriculture issue, I am very curious how much cost 1 square meter in Amsterdam of flat, because you mentioned that you've got a lack of flats.
Yes.
Do you know?
Well, yes, of course.
Price, of course, the middle, yeah.
The middle prices, exact prices, I don't know at the moment because I was never interested in moving to Amsterdam. But but I can tell you that pricing of houses is very high. It's around, if you want to buy a decent flat in Amsterdam, you will be looking at €1 million for sure.
Like a 50 meters square quadrat?
It will be 450,000 at least.
Okay.
So it's high. And this is a problem for young people. Yes, they don't have the money, they don't have the chance to buy something, and there is nothing for sale. So there is a whole business plan behind this. If you create new buildings on farm, and it's not bad if a farmer sells their fields, but I think the farmer should also benefit from these plans, and not only the project managers and the government.
Okay, I understand that Dutch farmers protest against, generally against government politics. The government tried to reduce the cattle production and generally the agriculture production. But for example, in Poland, we've got two main issues. First is the Green Deal, Brussels Green Deal, and grain from Ukraine. Is it also important things for you?
Of course, the Green Deal is the same problem here. The policies that are pushed upon our farmers are coming from Brussels, and now you see that Ursula von der Leyen give us some relief in this legislation, because she sees that it's not going like it should. And there are elections from 6 till 9. There are European elections, so the politics are getting scared that they will lose their job. So that's why we will be having a huge protest on the 4th, because then the people can see what's the most important for Europe. But we see what happened with the war between Ukraine and Russia. We see that European Union was importing huge amounts of gas from Russia. And it's weird because, for example, the Netherlands, we have mega amounts of natural gas in our country. We are from the western part of Europe. We are one of the richest with gas. But we sold this to different contracts, and we make some stupid deals. So the Dutch people don't have any benefits from this. It's only it's already been given away. So we imported this from abroad, from Russia, and now we see that the civilians and the people, our population, pays the highest price for gas in whole of Europe. Why? Because it's imported from America, LNG. And but this imported gas from America is coming into our harbor, and we have our own natural gas, but no, we are the most paying civilians in Europe for gas. It's 5 times higher than for example, in France or in Germany. This is because
Because of taxes?
Taxes, politicians, Green Deal, they all need money to change the Netherlands for the better, but we are seeing that they are changing it for the worse. They are stealing away money from the population, and they use this for fantastic idealistic plans with zero effect. And now we saw that if you say natural gas from the Netherlands is bad for the climate, but you just buy gas from Russia because the climate you don't care about, you see that there is a huge risk in this. And I think if we do the same at the moment with importing food from all over outside of Europe, and you have to see that Ukraine is also outside of Europe, yes? So
European Union, not Europe, of course.
Okay, I'm talking about the European Union.
Sure.
If you're importing food from outside the European Union, the legislation and the controls and checks are not similar to this on the European Union farmers. So this is a problem because it's not safe. First of all, you can have eggs from Ukraine filled with fipronil. And we, a few years ago, had a huge fipronil scandal because fipronil is illegal in the Netherlands. But there were some farms that had fipronil on their farm, and we have to shut down all of the farmers. They were all out of business now. They killed the animals. The farms will go bankrupt, and it's finished because they used the fipronil. But they didn't do this on purpose. They just rented a company that used this illegally, and they didn't write this on the documents. They just do this and had huge damage on poultry in the Netherlands. But now we see that Dutch poultry farmers that were treated very unfairly in this moment. Now we fight to protect our farms for eggs imported by Ukraine, but they use fipronil every day in Ukraine. So it's very unfair. And for grain issue on Poland is similar. Polish farmers are producing grain on legislation that is opposed by or is founded by the European Union. But the Ukraine farmers, they use everything that the Polish farmers can't. So it's unfair. It's breaking down Europe. It's breaking European Union, and it's breaking down our farms. And this is the same issue all over Europe. Not only the Polish farmers have this problem. Only they are close to Ukraine, so they are the first one to be damaged, and they produce a lot of grain in Poland. So
okay, but I've got a question. I saw statistics that the Netherlands only buy ships. 2 million of Ukrainian grain. So my question is, there is a problem for farmers with that amount of Ukrainian grain, and earn money only a big company, or really the farmers bought that grains to feed, for example, animals.
Of course, there is. I know that there is grain bought by big feeding companies in the Netherlands.
Okay.
This is not only the Netherlands, this is all over Europe. They are buying cheap grain because it is important into Europe. And if the documents are correct, you can buy it. And if you can buy it, people will buy it because it's cheap.
Yes.
And we see that they are mixing this up with good grain quality from our regions. And they are selling this to feed our animals. So yes, of course, there is some benefit for some farmers because prices are cheaper than they are without the Ukraine grain. But what happens if the grain imported from Ukraine is filled with fipronil? And you are one of the few poultry farmers left in the Netherlands because the other ones are closed because of the fipronil scandal. And you feed this Ukraine grain, you know nothing about fipronil, you don't use fipronil, but suddenly some people find fipronil in Dutch eggs. I know what will happen. They will shut down those farms. And this is the risk that European Union takes, not the farmers. The European Union should protect the border, not the farmers. The European Union is creating the border, so they should protect it. And they don't.
Could you tell me, maybe what are the current prices of wheat, corn? Do you know? Per ton?
Yes, I know, but they are similar than before the big imports. But we see because of the drought, the last years, grain went up to maybe 300 euro per ton. But now it's on a similar level as we had before. So it's like 22 euro per ton or some in this range. This was what I paid the last time. So 220 euro per ton.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Per wheat or corn?
Wheat.
Wheat, of course.
Yes.
So it's a little bit more expensive than in Poland. 220 euro, yeah, you told me.
Yes, around this price. Sometimes it's a little bit higher, but this is the cheapest price that I paid the last weeks.
So in Poland, the price is a little bit lower. And I've got another question, because the Dutch agri-producers, farmers, are very, very good organized. You've got very good cooperative. I saw, for example, Friesland Campina, like 14,000 farmers, or flower producer, like 5,000 in one organization. Poland, we cannot imagine if that. For example, the average size of a group of the producer is 20-30%. That's all, and it's a lack of them. Could you tell me how it works? My question is every farmer in the Netherlands associated with any organization? How it works? How many organizations you've got?
No. Well, overall, in the past, a lot of corporations started building their strong group of farmers together and building, for example, Friesland Campina. Friesland Campina was the last. If you look like 1 decade ago, Friesland Campina was the strongest milk company worldwide, I think. But now, what's happening is that they started to invest worldwide. They started to have certain projects. They started to have their goals 5 years ago. No, in 2015. We had quota in the Netherlands. Yes, you can only milk so much liters on your farm, and the rest you buy more. Yeah, but in 2015, the government, together with Friesland Campina and some other big organizations, decided. No, actually, it was the government, but other organizations joined in. Said we remove the quota. You can milk freely in the Netherlands without any hesitation. So you saw that a lot of farmers think, okay, but if you can milk freely, prices will go down because production will go up. So there's only one thing to fight this: produce more. Because if you sell with little margin, you should sell more. So the rat race began. And this was not good for every organization and not good for the farmers, because prices went down, farmers grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is one of the problems that the Friesland Campina faced, because they started to develop their company very quickly, because they thought, okay, the upcoming years, the milk production will rise rapidly, so we have to double our capacity. So they invest a lot and blah, blah, blah. And eventually the government decided they don't want this growth. First, they cut away the quota. And then after 1 year later, they said, we don't want this growth. We're going to block it with quota on manure production. So we have a new quota just on a different produce, on the manure of the animals. So it's the same. But you are asking about corporations. Now we see that many farmers are giving up on their corporations. They are moving away from them, because the corporations are invested with leftist and green ideologies. People are going into the boards of this. They have no contact with farmers because they grow so big. Yes, they have only like 14,000 members of farmers, and they have 5,000 or 10,000 employees. So it's, the majority is not farmer anymore. So we saw that in the board of some of the organizations, there were some very green ideological people imposing their farms on the great corporations. And we saw that the great corporations lose big amounts of money because of this, because they are not competitive anymore. So if you compare this to Poland, you can be very, very, very happy that you don't have these huge, great corporations, because these great, huge corporations are not caused by farmers cooperating so very strongly. Those great corporations are caused by the fact that we have only a few farmers. And Poland are full of farmers. You have a lot of family farms, a lot of farmers. And if you have, I don't know the current amount of farmers in Poland, but I think it's more than 200,000 farmers.
400,000.
Well, it's even better.
Farmers, because officially it's over 1 million, but only officially.
Okay. So imagine if you have 400,000 farmers, it's not easy to make one huge corporation or two or three. It's difficult because many people, many opinions. But this is strong, because many opinions create many types of business. And if you have many types of business, you are... if one is not successful, farmers can change and choose different ways of farming, or can change their... But in the Netherlands, they are caught up in structures. We cannot change our business. The business model are created by the big corporations, and there is nothing else. So be happy. Poland is stronger in this, really.
Okay, I understand your point of view. And I would like to know, did you achieve your goals? Could you tell me something more? Because you told very detailed about your reasons, about your organization, yeah? But nowadays, did you feel, okay, now we achieve our goals, we've got support, we feel good with that or not?
Well, of course, we are... Farmers in the Netherlands are competitive people. We are always wanted to be the best, and this is, you can see this. We have very high productions. We have people are willing to fight and give their life for their business, for their companies. And so family farms in the Netherlands are very strong, and they are very competitive worldwide without the legislation. So did I achieve my goals? Well, I'm also just a farmer. And if I achieve my goals, I want more. So we see that we as an organization achieved some of our goals. One of them is changing the opinion of the media, have influence in the media. We have a lot of influence because of the protests. We want to change our politics. We had a great political shift in the Netherlands. It's not finished, but it was a great shift. The BBB is one of the biggest, and the PVV, a right-wing party. Nobody 10 years ago ever thought that a right-wing party have any foot on the ground in the Netherlands, and now it's the biggest one ever.
It's my group. It's my group party.
No, he is going down rapidly. It's now PVV, Geert Wilders. He is right-wing. And he's traditional right-winged, and you can see that he is stronger than ever before, because people, they don't care about which kind of politics, they just want change, different. And all the other politics are similar. They are all left and woke, and you should be gender neutral or whatever, and people are sick and tired of this in the Netherlands. We can't have this anymore. So that's why everybody voted differently. And this was a great success. BBB got bigger, PVV got bigger. And so we have a huge political shift now. So new people in the parliament, new people in the media. The new parliament is already talking about cutting down the budget of the nationwide media of 80 million euro and don't give them a new permit. So I think that we had huge success. But now it's time to use this success to put throughout Europe, because we had success, Polish farmers had success, German farmers had success, and some of them had more success, other ones had little success. But together we have huge success in Europe, and we should now, before the elections, use this cooperation of all European farmers to join the 4th of June and kick those ridiculous politicians out of office, because they are breaking down Europe and making whole of Europe independent from outside of Europe.
And did the Dutch government support, by financial support, Dutch producers or not?
Of course, we have the same financial support as Poland has throughout.
I don't mean the Brussels support like payments, but just the government money. I mean, because the former Polish government gave around 3 billion euro for farmers, and we've got support, for example, like 120 euro per ton of fertilizer, 10 euro cents per liter of fuel, and if you sell the grain, you've got also support. So it was quite big amount, and nowadays government would like to do the same again. So I mean, those money don't came from Brussels; they come from Polish budget. I mean, you've got the same support.
No, don't worry. We have actually zero support. They use everything they want in the Netherlands. They use agricultural budget from the budget from Brussels. So we are getting less and less from the European budget as well. So it's the opposite. They use agricultural money for developing the countryside, for doing projects, for blah, 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 a lot of things, not for farmers. So it's the opposite as in Poland. So again, I think in a few years, there's a chance that Polish farming will be way stronger in Europe than Dutch farmers, because they are breaking down the farms in the Netherlands. So we can only show Polish farmers what will happen if you don't fight. Because for many years we didn't fight. We let everything happen. And I know that Poland started fighting. I know that a lot of people, for example, the people behind EGR, is a Polish organization that we have very close contact with, and they fight for the farmers with all they have in their capacity. And the Poland should be very happy for this, because this is not only good for the Polish farmers, this is good for whole of Poland, because you will have a strong development in Poland, because people will develop their businesses. And in the Netherlands, we are only breaking things down. We were on the top level and we are going rapidly down.
Okay. And my last question is, what's your opinion about the future? Do you believe that the agriculture in West Europe, especially in the Netherlands, can be beneficial in production? Yeah.
Of course, we are in the Netherlands. It's very easy. We will always have profit in the Netherlands because, sometimes I talk with politicians and they say, yes, but the Netherlands is very small. Yes, maybe just start farming some bigger country with a lot of place because you need place. Yes. I said, okay, but it's not the place we need. Yes, we need good arable soils with good profit. And we are living in a river delta in the Netherlands with very high production. We have the highest production almost worldwide. And this is caused by the quality of the soils and the climate. So if the politicians think that we should move out the country, nowadays with modern techniques and internet, shouldn't we just place the buildings of the politicians and the parliament somewhere in the desert? Because there's no problem there. They can work from there. And we just use their highly arable crops in the Netherlands on this place that they are now occupying. Because concrete and beton is never bringing more money than green crop.
Okay, Jos, thank you for your conversation. I think the topic was very interesting for our viewers. And if you would like to see Jos again in our channel, please leave a comment. And of course, with pleasure, I speak Jos once again, or maybe more. So thank you, Jos, for your time. And would you like to say for goodbye, last word?
Yes, the last word, I want to do a shout out to all European farmers, especially the Polish ones. Support your local organization because you have a strong one. The EGR and all of their people are fighting for Poland like they should do in the Netherlands as well, but we don't have this. So be proud of them. And at the same time, I will see all Polish farmers in Brussels on the 4th of June. Be there and be aware.
With pleasure. Thank you, Jos, and goodbye.